Crewmates, the situation is dire. We must identify the impostor. Report any suspicious activity immediately.
Hey Red, you seen this? The task panel's green.
What? That's impossible. It wasn't done.
I know, right?
The map says it's clear, but that flicker is creepy.
Just a glitch. It's fine. Yeah, fine.
There's no imposter. You're just paranoid.
But the reports show anomalies.
Just glitches. Calm down. Fine. All right, this is our shot. We stick together no matter what. Fine, but I'm watching.
Okay, I'm in.
All right, let's discuss this calmly. We need to review the logs. Everyone, stay focused. Why are we like this, trapped in this endless cycle of doubt and survival? It's absurd, but we have to keep going, no matter the guilt.
I need you to understand something before I tell you this story. I've been on a lot of ships. I've seen a lot of rounds go wrong. But this one I still think about when the lights flicker for no reason. It started like every other round. 7 of us. Tasks to do. 1 imposter somewhere in the mix. Standard stuff. Or so we thought. Red called the meeting at the start, like he always does. He's the kind of guy who treats every new round like a military briefing. He laid out the task assignments, told everyone where to go, who to pair with. Nobody argued. We were all tired from the last round. Tired and still a little rattled from what happened to Orange. But that's a story for another day. I took electrical. Nobody likes electrical. It's dark, it's cramped, and the wiring task takes forever if your hands... well, if you had hands, I guess. The point is, it's the kind of place where you hear things that aren't there. I got there and started the task. And then I noticed something that made my visor fog up from the inside. The task was already half done. I told myself I miscounted. You know how it is. Your brain fills in gaps. You think you did something you didn't. That's normal. That's human. Or, well, whatever we are. I finished the last wire and walked out. Mentioned it to nobody. Because if you walk into a room at the start of the round and tell people, hey, the task was already half done, you know what they say? They say it was you. They always say it was you. Yellow ran into me near the junction between navigation and admin. Yellow's always cheerful. Propeller beanie spinning, bouncing along like everything is fine, like we haven't all watched people get launched into space for suspicious behavior. Yo, Red, Yellow said. Crazy, right? My nav task was already complete when I got there. And that's when my stomach dropped. We compared notes. Yellow's navigation chart task, my wiring task, both partially done before we got there. We agreed, quietly, because you don't shout this stuff, that it was probably just a glitch, a sync error. The ship's systems were old. Admin panel used to flicker on its own. It was probably nothing. Yellow said probably 4 times in that sentence. I counted. Blue was in medbay running the scan. Blue does the scan every round, no exceptions. She's methodical, careful, wears that witch hat like it's standard issue equipment, and treats every accusation like it's beneath her. When I passed by, she didn't even look up. "Before you ask," she said. "Yes, I noticed. The scan was 30% complete before I started it." Green didn't believe any of us. Of course he didn't. Green never believes anything until he can shoot it. He stomped into the cafeteria mid-discussion, flame mohawk practically bristling, blaster holstered, but his body language screaming that he wanted to use it. "You're all losing your minds," he said. "Someone's doing the tasks early and not reporting. That's suspicious. That's an imposter play. Stop making it weird." Cyan backed Green up. He does that. Cyan with the sombrero and the mustache that I genuinely cannot tell is real or a costume piece. Cyan nods along to whatever sounds most confident. He crossed his arms, or, well, he tilted in the direction of his non-existent arms and said, "Cy, someone is doing tasks and keeping quiet. Check the taskbar." We checked the taskbar. It had moved, more than it should have. "Could be a bug," Black said from the corner. Black is quiet. Bomber jacket, that little pink worm antenna thing on top. He watches more than he talks, and when he talks, people listen. "Could be," he said again. But he was already looking at the vents. White found the first real sign, and when I say real, I mean undeniable. No more, maybe it's a glitch energy after this. White was in communications fixing the comms panel, his thing. He likes being the one who controls the information flow, very on brand. And he said the panel, when he leaned against it to work, it was warm. Not the normal kind of warm. The kind of warm that means someone was just there. White called everyone to comms, not an emergency meeting, just a everyone get here now energy that nobody questioned, because White had the mic, and when White has the mic, things happened. He showed us the panel. The warmth was fading, but still there. Blue checked the logs. Communications keeps logs. And that's when things got really quiet really fast. The comms panel had logged an interaction at 1432. None of us had been in comms at 1432. We'd all been in the cafeteria arguing about the taskbar. Green said it first. He always says the thing first, even when he shouldn't. Someone's in the vents. Has to be. They're doing tasks, moving through vents, messing with comms. Classic imposter play. I say we split up, cover every vent on the ship, and catch them. And the terrifying thing? We agreed. Not because it was a good plan, because it was the only plan that made us feel like we had any control at all. We split up. Classic horror mistake. I know. I knew then too. But you try standing in a group when every room on the ship might have an invisible someone finishing your homework before you get there. I went back to electrical, alone, because apparently I hate myself. The lights were off this time. All of them. I heard something then, not a sound you can describe easily, not footsteps, we don't really make footsteps, not breathing. I don't think we breathe, technically. It was more like a frequency, a hum, like someone holding a note just slightly too long, and it was coming from inside the walls. I stood there for a full 30 seconds before I was able to move, and when I finally did, the wiring task was complete. I had not touched it. I called an emergency meeting. My hand hit that button faster than I have ever hit anything. Everyone came running. I told them exactly what happened. Every word. And for the first time, Green didn't argue. He just stood there. Flame mohawk a little less aggressive than usual, blaster still holstered, and said nothing. That scared me more than anything that had happened so far. Blue spoke carefully. She always speaks carefully when things are bad. It's like she slows down her whole system before she processes the worst possibilities. The entity, whatever it is completing tasks, she said. It's not killing anyone. It's not sabotaging. It's just finishing our work. A pause. That's either the nicest haunting in history, Yellow said, or it wants us to win so badly it's willing to haunt us to do it. Nobody laughed, but 3 people almost did, and that matters. We decided to watch, not split up, watch. Cover the task panels as a group and see if we could catch it happening in real time. Cyan volunteered to be the bait, which was very brave of him, and also very funny because the way he tilted his sombrero and adjusted his mustache while saying, "I will do it," had the energy of a man walking to his own roast. We stationed him in navigation alone and hid outside watching through the window. We waited 4 minutes, nothing. Cyan started doing the task himself because standing still was apparently too much for him. He got halfway through the star chart alignment, and then he stopped. From outside, we could see him go perfectly still. The kind of still that isn't a choice. The kind that happens when your body makes a decision before your brain does. The second half of the star chart was completing, without him. Cyan screamed. I don't mean yelled. I mean a proper full-volume, sombrero-wobbling scream that we heard clearly through the hull. He ran, right out of navigation, right through us, right past the cafeteria, and we did not see him stop running until he hit the reactor room wall. Green was already at the nav panel, blaster out, scanning the room. There was nothing there. No one. Just the completed task still glowing. And on the star chart display, in the pattern of the aligned stars, a shape. 4 stars. Arranged like a body. A crewmate body. We all stood in that navigation room for a while not talking. Cyan eventually came back. He walked in, looked at the star chart, looked at us, and said with extreme dignity, "I was not scared. I was performing a tactical retreat." Nobody believed him. Everyone appreciated it. White figured it out. Or at least, he figured out the first piece of it. He pulled up the match history on his comm tab, the ejection logs. He scrolled back through rounds, and he found it. 6 rounds ago, an impostor was ejected. The vote was unanimous. They'd done nothing visible. No kills, no sabotages, no suspicious behavior. They'd just completed tasks. All of them. Silently. Like they were a crewmate. The crew had ejected them because there was nobody else left to eject. "We ejected a crewmate," White said. His voice was different. Flat. Like he'd removed all the performance from it. 6 rounds ago. 7 votes. That was one of us. We killed one of us. And now they're finishing the tasks they never got to finish. Yellow's propeller beanie stopped spinning. Black let out a breath that sounded like the ship itself exhaling. Green put his blaster away. We didn't talk for a long time after that, and then Cyan, because it's always Cyan, said, "So, are we in danger?" Blue actually laughed, just once, short, surprised herself. "No," she said, "I don't think we're in danger. I think we're being haunted by someone who just wanted to finish their tasks." "That's somehow worse," Cyan said. "See," Blue agreed. Green had one more idea. He always does. You can't stop Green from having ideas. The man, the crewmate, is fundamentally incapable of sitting in feelings without doing something about them. If they're still finishing tasks, he said, then the round isn't over for them. They're still playing. And if they're still playing... He looked at the task bar. It was at 97%. 3 tasks remained. We stayed together, all 7 of us, moving from room to room. Not to watch for an impostor anymore. Not to catch anything. Just to watch. We saw it happen in the reactor, the divert power task. The slider on the panel moved on its own. Slowly. Carefully. The way you move a task slider when you've done it 1,000 times and you're in no hurry. Like they were savoring it. The taskbar hit 99, 1 task left. We stood in the hallway near admin. Quiet. Green's blaster stayed put. Yellow's beanie didn't spin. Even the ship seemed to be holding something. And then the admin map panel activated by itself. The last task. Swipe card. The simplest task on the ship. 1 motion. Done in 2 seconds. We heard the completion sound. The task bar hit 100. The victory jingle played. We had won. All tasks complete. Technically a victory. Nobody felt like it. Red stood in the middle of the admin room for a long time after, just standing. And when he came back out, he said something I haven't been able to stop thinking about. They were never the imposter, he said. Not really. They just played different. We debriefed, or tried to. White pointed out that we had no way to confirm the haunting was over. The tasks were done. Our tasks, this round. But the ship had seen a lot of rounds, a lot of ejections. How many of them? White said, barely into the mic he'd forgotten he was still holding. Never got to finish? And the lights in the cafeteria flickered once. Just once. Like an answer. That's the thing nobody talks about. Not really. We play round after round, and we vote, and we eject, and we start again. Clean slate. New round. And somewhere in the space between the ship and the stars, there are echoes of every vote we got wrong. Every task left unfinished. Every I was innocent that nobody heard. We won that round. All tasks complete. But I've been back on that ship since, and sometimes, in electrical, in nav, in comms, I hear that hum. That held note. And the tasks on my panel are never quite where I left them. Tell me something. When's the last time you finished a task you started?